Hi, I'm Megha Sharma. You're watching NewsX, and joining me right now is Her Excellency Diana Mickeviciene. She is the ambassador of Lithuania to India. Thank you very much, Ambassador, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, NewsX, for having me over.
Absolutely. I want to begin our conversation with the relationship between India and Lithuania over the last several years, and of course, looking forward towards the future. What is on the anvil?
Absolutely, technology. One word, if you ask me. We have started our trade with very traditional items. Both sides used to sell traditional goods to each other, and what we see now is a significant shift in trading technologies and services. And I think technology will be the word which we will use to describe our trade, economic partnership, and partnership at large. In the future.
When we talk about technology, and there has been this buzz about creating an ecosystem for Aadhaar 2.0, and Lithuania plays an important part in being able to provide its cutting edge technology for the unique identification number process, the system over here in India. Could you tell us more about?
Well, it is, as you know, it's India's program. It's the largest biometric project in the world. And I'm very happy that a Lithuanian company called Neurotechnology has been invited to take part in that amazing exercise. So I understand that the tasks are being really spread out, to different companies, and the headquarters, the leaders of Aadhaar project have chosen the best of the best from the world, and we are among the best of the best. So the Lithuanian company Neurotechnology has been taken in to provide the specific deed application function in the biometric project, which is about unique identities, which means that it's very very important to avoid duplication, and therefore AI and robotics is being used and is being used to assure that. So it's one of our pioneering companies which has presence in India and presence in many other countries wherever you need to verify, so to assure the unique identities, whether it's voters lists in some countries or it's real estate properties lists and registers and many other things where you need to assure unique identities. It's there, and they are considered to be among the best in the world. And just yesterday, I got very good news that in the Aadhaar headquarters, they were recognized and awarded for the best performing as a best performing company in that Aadhaar family. So I'm only very happy about this.
Talking about India Inc. investment in Lithuania, particularly focused on pharmaceuticals and green energy and technology you've already spoken about. What are the avenues that can be explored further when it comes to Indian investment? And how is the Lithuanian government creating a favorable ecosystem for Indian investment to enter into the markets?
Well, we are quite known as a very open market, as a very advanced market, which has best quality, yet not that expensive compared to many other countries in Europe. So we already have a few well-known names like HCL Technologies, like Indorama Ventures, which are in Lithuania, which have been in Lithuania since now quite a long time, working with many other well-known names to invite them. We are especially keen to collaborate with Indian pharma because we have a very good yet small pharma and biotech ecosystem. We are in fact very good in biotech, but what I mean that we are just generally very very small country compared to India. But we say that the beauty is when certain solutions which work very fine in a small market can be scaled up in the huge market of India. Then the collaboration is very much a win for both sides. So pharma is definitely one of the areas, and I have myself in my last 3 years I've met big number of pharma companies to discuss, and there are some interesting engagements happening. But what I also want to promote, and we have already started, is the exchange and teaming up of our scientists because we are especially good in life science and biotech, which India is also pioneering in those areas. So my dream is to pair up, groups of scientists to work together on common solutions to those common global problems, so that it's both Indian and Lithuanian are equally, partnering in technological solutions for the future.
Mm-hmm. What are the other projects besides, in further fostering economic relations? But when we talk about culture connect, when you talk about people to people connect, and of course you spoke about this scientific collaboration, or what is on the anvil in the next year?
So one other company, which is a very well-known company, one of the highlights of our economy, is called Teltonica, which is already in India since a good decade. They provide various solutions in trackers and sensors. So it's basically IoT devices which are installed in various possible applications, from mining to public transportation, garbage disposal, women's safety buttons, which are being installed in public transportation in India. Anything where you need to connect a fleet of vehicles to a certain control room to assure the speed, the quality, the seamless transition is there. So I don't know the latest statistics, but at least 2 years ago they had a very good, share of the hardware market for those network and those smart solutions in India. And they have decided to go for Make in India. Now we are waiting for more news on that, but that will be they will be the first Lithuanian company who will go for Make in India, because that's exactly the recipe I mentioned, where you have excellent solutions which can play a very good role in the huge market of India. Scaling up a small solution to the scale of India is where the beauty of collaboration starts. Another company, for example, offers the best smart water meters. They are considered to be the best in the world for price and quality. So looking at the scale of new construction in India, looking at the water problem where you need to, we are very happy to share that, because in Lithuania, we don't have water shortages for now, but every drop of water is accounted for and paid for by the user. So I guess India is also aiming at a similar regulation, which needs to be very convenient. It needs to be installed in the household so that it doesn't pose any hassles. So these two examples. In another big probably example and another topic where we work actively is to present, to help our laser ecosystem to India's market. For now, Lithuania is one of the capitals for high precision lasers in the world, especially scientific lasers, and some of maybe 10% of world's scientific lasers come only from Lithuania, so they are not available in other countries. So in India, you have many scientific research institutions which actually work with Lithuanian lasers even now. But what we see with smart manufacturing mission here, in full, full growth, and very much promoted by the government. It's one of the pilot missions by the government, that Lithuanian lasers could be an important part of success of smart manufacturing in India, because when we start talking about the industrial application in lasers, you take, especially medical, you have heart stents, brain stents, and many other areas where you need those super high precision lasers. That's where Lithuania is definitely one of the best. Last year, one of our companies got the so-called laser Oscar of the laser world. So I went to see it actually, but to someone who doesn't know much about lasers, it's a very impressive big laser system and machine, but it was recognized as the best in the world. So we really look forward to partnering with, and helping you with the smart manufacturing mission with our lasers.
AI is the buzzword. We already have seen that Google is going to be setting up a multi-billion-dollar plant here in India. There has been an announcement that has been made by Microsoft. Satya Nadella was over here, and a couple of days ago he met with the Prime Minister and something in the tune of $17.8 billion is what is going to be invested in the next 5 years. How has Lithuania worked an ecosystem, or is the government at this point of time in the stage of building regulatory monitoring uh, 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 rules and guidelines? And how can India and Lithuania work together in this sphere?
Yes, exactly. India is hosting the AI Impact Summit in 2 months' time, and we are already preparing for it. We are also very much in AI, and we have a very vibrant AI ecosystem. Our startups, the first startup, grew up into big companies. Now we have another set of new and small startups growing and hopefully making it to that big players league. And recently, Forbes, in fact, mentioned Lithuania as being one of the exemplary, ecosystems. So I guess our regulatory framework is what makes it so attractive. We have recently had some US big names coming, announcing they are coming to Lithuania, making their base in Lithuania. But our own companies have been very vibrant. You may have heard, I mentioned Neurotechnology, the company which is part of Aadhaar. It's an AI company with a lot of global presence. Hostinger, you might have heard, Oxy is very good name for medical application AI. So quite a big range of companies are already making it big and going abroad. And of course, we export very use-friendly, ready to export and apply solutions in mostly medical and data analysis. And most importantly, we have started setting up a big AI center in Lithuania, which is, basically with half co-finance with European Union. It should be valued at 130 million euros. So it's a big thing and it's very evolving. We really look forward to the summit here in Delhi. We hope our companies will come and there will be new partnerships between businesses. But if you ask me about regulatory, that's a huge challenge for the world. We are, of course, very keen, and India as is also very keen to have this safe and human-friendly AI, for which you need regulation, which is not yet there. So we, of course, we are like India. Lithuania is also part of the Global Partnership Alliance of AI, which met in Delhi 1.5 years ago, and then Council of Europe AI Convention, which is the first legally committing convention on AI, was signed in Vilnius last year. So I think, again, in a small way, Lithuania, because of its small size, but in a big way, India are making very similar, steps, and our interests very much converge to create that global regulatory framework, which is friendly and safe, and it's not allowed to manipulate to various actors who work against human good. We were also hosting a small conference last summer on AI regulation. I was part of that. I listened with great interest, and we brought an Indian expert there. So we saw that, really only together, democratic countries, which more or less see it the same way, the need for that human-friendly yet safe AI, we need to team together to make that, to create a regulatory framework for the common good.
Yes, the AI summit that you just mentioned is going to take place in February. Is there any indication, any visits in the upcoming year of the government, of the head of government from Lithuania to India? Any possibility that the head of government would be attending the AI summit?
There is a possibility. We are definitely looking at the high level representation. It's too early for me to say it loud. But yes, we are working both at political level of representation, academic, but also business level representation. Is definitely going to be a very important year for AI globally, but also for our bilateral relations.
The free trade agreement between India and European Union, there have been European Union countries that have been pushing for an early conclusion of the FTA. How do you view that is going to benefit India-Lithuania economic ties?
It is going to benefit everybody because these two markets, Indian market and European Union market, are the largest in the world. So it's gonna be an unprecedented agreement on unprecedented scale, which is so important. We all feel that we are at the cusp of making it. So of course the negotiations are still happening and probably will continue to be happening till the last day. We look at it very positively. I mentioned pharma, I mentioned many other areas, again, technologies mostly, but also for the, usual trade in goods. It's definitely going to benefit us both in terms of tariffs, in terms of non-tariffs, in terms of harmonizing our regulatory approaches. Yes, but I also want to say that while bilaterally and EU India, it's gonna be definitely a groundbreaking event, but it is going to be very important even globally because of our market and because of the importance of these two actors. It's going to be a global pioneer. So of course we are all hoping and waiting for this to happen.
I also want to ask you about, the recent visit of the Russian President Vladimir Putin, who was in India. How does Europe and Lithuania, particularly, which is part of NATO, view this visit?
Well, we are very concerned about the war that Russia has started and continues to work. So we, of course, look at every avenue and possibility to put pressure on Russia, because there can be only one outcome of this war: Russia going back to its territory. For us, small neighbors of Russia, it's very important that an aggressor is not rewarded. So nobody needs a fake peace for the sake of peace. We need a sustainable and just peace, which addresses the causes of the war. And the cause of the war is the only cause of the war that I can tell you is the neo-imperial aggression of Russia against other neighboring countries. We, as other neighboring countries, are alarmed that we might be next. Yes, we are part of NATO. Luckily, otherwise I wouldn't even be sitting there. Now I can tell very unapologetically, I'm here as an ambassador of a sovereign country only because at the right time we became part of NATO, which Ukraine unfortunately didn't. The history would have been very different. But it's time we speak not just about peace, but about a just peace, addressing and making sure that it does not happen again, it is not repeated. But with the neighborhood that we are in, with Russia on our doorstep, we know that if you reward the aggressor, it's a matter of a few years, until it is repeated.
Yesterday, there has been a statement that has been released by the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz here. The EU nations that are led by France, Germany, and United Kingdom have sent out a proposal to US President Donald Trump, speaking about how Ukraine is now accepting of quote-unquote concessions of territory to end war with Russia. Do you think there has been a significant change of stance in the way the European leaders are now viewing the situation?
No, I don't see any change. I think we're all very consistent in stressing the same principles. And I don't want to comment on something that happened yesterday because it's a very dynamic situation, but I can only repeat what I said. Any encouragement and reward to an aggressor will only bring another aggression, and it's just a matter of time.
Also, we saw 2 days ago the airspace of Lithuania was invaded by these cigarette-laden balloons from Belarus. How is Lithuania equipped to safeguard its airspaces?
Well, it's not just yesterday, it's been on for a long time, but in the last 2 months it's been bad enough to prompt repeated closures of our main airport, which actually affected thousands of passengers. And we have had violations of airspace too in the proper way. Even when I was home in Lithuania in July, 2 drones landed on the territory of Lithuania before 20 of them landed in Poland in August. So it is a situation which is worrying. It is something that we see as an attempt to pile pressure on Europe. There have been incidents in Western Europe, in Brussels, of Denmark coast, and many other areas. So what we see is just basically posturing of the same aggressor who's been trying to pile pressure on us, which won't work, I have to say. But if you ask me of how Lithuania is dealing with that, then of course we have addressed international bodies, we have addressed United Nations to actually say who is the culprit, because it's not the traffickers who are doing this. It's done with complete control of our neighboring country, Belarus, which is part of basically Russia and part of the Russian alliance in waging a war against Ukraine and to some extent against Europe. But on a lighter note, I have to say, I have recently read the news that our brightest of startups have been commissioned to come up with technological solutions, because these are very cheap, balloons which need to be removed from space. But since they fly not very high but not very low, it's you can't endanger people walking under that sky. Therefore, it's for our brightest technology companies to come up with solutions. So hopefully, in a matter of months, we might start selling these solutions to other countries who face such provocations from their unfriendly neighbors.
Okay.
I have no doubts about that. These solutions can definitely be found.
Okay. I also want to talk about, this cultural, artistic connect that binds India and Lithuania. I had the opportunity to visit this exhibition that was held, that was organized by you, the Sodai Straw Gardens, that took place in Delhi. You, of course, launched it. You also brought in a Lithuanian artist. And how can this exchange of such a beautiful art form, where Indian artists can also learn it and propagate it?
Well, it's a special year for India-Lithuania relations. We, of course, do a lot in cultural diplomacy in any case, every year. But this was a special year because Lithuania and India have agreed to dedicate the year 25-26, which is also next year, to the year of people to people connections, for the reason that this year we have marked 400 years from the arrival of the first Lithuanian in India, but also 130 years from arrival of the first non-Indian in Lithuania. So these are fun facts from our history, which prompted us to do more on cultural diplomacy, stressing what is very important to be stressed, in fact, that people reached out and communicated much before our states were able to. You were colonized, so we were occupied. So for obvious reasons, state-to-state relations are still in very tender age. But we have to celebrate people's connections, because for centuries they were related to each other more than we are aware of it. We also have this very interesting linguistic connection for the reason of Lithuanian language being recognized as one of the, or perhaps the closest living sister language of Sanskrit. We have a carriers of a very archaic Indo-European language in Europe. So I'm also working on my pet project. A few years ago, our embassy arranged for a small dictionary of identical words between Lithuanian and Sanskrit to be published, and it has become a big hit. I think even Prime Minister Modi tweeted very happily receiving it. But what we started doing now is that two scholars, one Sanskrit professor from Lithuania and another Sanskrit professor from India, will work together to produce a much bigger 1,000 words dictionary. And this is what is happening. The Sanskrit professor from Lithuania is right now in Delhi and meeting his counterpart, Professor Shashi Bala from Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. I just saw the picture of them both, sitting together on the computer with a lot of dictionaries, consulting, the content of the future dictionary. So that's something very important. That will be a big celebration of those ties. But if you ask me about Sodin, our traditional art form, folk art form, where people made those spatial, beautiful straw decorations, which are supposed to be blessing the house, the space where humans live. It's been inscribed into UNESCO Intangible Heritage List. So congratulations to India for Deepawali have just been inscribed 2 days ago. So they have been there since 2 years, and it was with this, connect through UNESCO that I came with the idea to bring them. It's a very fragile art form, so it was not very easy, but I'm happy it resonated so well. The artist gave 3 sets of workshops in Delhi, and the people were amazing. The way they actually tried to work and study that art was amazing. Otherwise, this year, the number of artists and writers, intellectuals we brought to Delhi and India, not just Delhi, but all over in India, is incredible. I think it's close to 20 maybe. So this is just one final event that we are having. Recently, our comic artist was taking by storm Bangalore Literature Festival, presenting her comic, medium of storytelling. So I think, and Indian Embassy has been equally active in Lithuania. My most favorite, they have also had dances, they have had textile presentations of that beautiful Indian lore of traditional textiles in Lithuania. But my very favorite is, in a small fishing village, they have this fish soup festival every year. And this year, the winner was Indian Embassy, which offered the fish soup with the taste of, Indian sort of, curry fish soup, which became a favorite of everybody, and they became the winner. So I guess it's, it's that very good expression of friendship that we celebrate, and we create so many bonds, through tastes, from flavors, through textiles, through art making, that, I'm really happy. This was an amazing year for our connections.
Of course, I do want to highlight that you have studied Sanskrit, and your Hindi is as impeccable as it could be. And I do want you to, address our audiences, maybe speak a little Hindi. I do not understand Sanskrit. You are the expert.
Well, Sanskrit, I definitely don't speak Sanskrit because I studied it as a language of scriptures. So we have studied various scriptures, mostly Vedic Sanskrit, that is Rig Veda. Then we also studied Bhagavad Gita, the usual text. And in fact, it was my professor who is now working on this dictionary who taught me Sanskrit. But in Hindi has been a different thing. I have a very living relationship with Hindi because I spent several times, long times in Delhi. So I picked up the language and I would normally forget it. It would be somewhere back at the back of my mind and I will relearn it again. But I do speak, it's a very working basic language that I can speak, but I love reading poetry. And I know that, my public recital of Harivansh Rai Bachchan's poems was what caught the attention.
Yes.
So, and I'm not generally even a person of poetry, I have to say. I don't really read so much of poetry. Why and what happened especially when I first came across, Agnipat, which totally fascinated me. And then I'm still, it will take me a lifetime to complete Madhushala in Hindi because it's a complicated Sanskritized high Hindi, but it gives me such a pleasure.
Could you narrate a couple of lines from that Harivansh Rai Bachchan's poem?
You should have warned me about that. But okay, the first stanza, which is probably where you always started. मृदु भवों के अंगूरों के आज बना लाया खाला, प्रियतम अपने ही हाथों से पिलाऊंगा प्याला, पहले भोग लगा लूं फिर प्रसाद जग पाएगा, सबसे पहले तेरा स्वागत करती हूँ मेरी मधुशाला.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much.
I agree because it is amazing.
Thank you very much for talking to me, Ambassador Diana. It is always a pleasure.
Most grateful to speaking to me, and it was a pleasure to speak to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.